guys, it's Sarah. So I am here to do my 500 subscriber Q&A video and a giveaway at the end. So I went ahead and closed the giveaway, so no more questions. Any other questions that come in are just not going to be answered on this video. I closed it this morning, but I did print out all the questions here, and I have 3 pages of questions, so I'm really excited about it. I am going to go ahead and answer all of them, and then a few of you did ask questions even though you live overseas and are not eligible for the giveaway, but I'm still going to answer your questions, and thank you so much for still asking. And a lot of you guys just added comments into the questions as well, and they completely touched my heart, and I teared up at some of them. So thank you guys so much for your kindness, and just your words mean so much to me, like you don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna keep it together. Okay, so I'm gonna have to read the questions from here, so pardon me while I do that. But question number 1 is from Shannon Newman. She asks, what are the fall and winter collections or stamps that you are most looking forward to this year? This is a scrapbooking question. I am also a scrapbooker, and I have a separate scrapbooking channel, which is just my name, Sarah Swan, which I'll have a link down below if you guys want to check it out if scrapbooking is something you're into. I do have a lot of viewers who do both, and they found my channels one way or the other through either books or scrapbooking. Okay, so fall and winter collections, I have no clue. And I don't really want to know because I'm not in the market to buy any collections on my own. I'm really just at a place in my scrapbooking right now where I'm wanting to work with what I have and just make what I have work for me. I do usually get a couple things here and there because I am part of a kit club, which is the Hip Kit Club, where I get a scrapbooking kit every month, and it's a subscription, so I get it every month. And they are usually really good about putting a few things here and there from the newer collections that just come out. So I'm probably getting a few things from that, but other than that, I'm not going to be buying anything. I'm kind of not even trying to look because if I look, I'll be tempted. I can tell you some of my favorite people. Like if I were looking, I would be looking first at Maggie Holmes and Amy Tangerine. So those are the 2 kind of people that I would be looking out for their new stuff, and probably Shamel Lane as well. So that's who I would be looking at if I were looking. Question number 2 is from Must Read Soon. Hi, Whitney. What is your favorite kind of coffee and favorite flavor of coffee creamer? Girl, let me tell you, I am a coffee addict, like for real. I love Starbucks. I usually just drink coffee at home because it's cheaper, let's be real. So when I'm at home, my current favorite is Folgers Gourmet Vanilla Biscotti. That's what the K-Cups look like. I don't have the box with me, but that's what they look like. And I drink that, and then they just came out with the pumpkin stuff, guys. So this is what I'm drinking right now. This is International Delight Pumpkin Pie Spice. My husband found sugar-free, and I was so happy about that because I need to lessen the sugar, most definitely. So this is what I'm drinking right now. If it wasn't holiday type seasonal stuff, I'd probably just have, I would still have the Vanilla Biscotti Folgers, but I would have like a French vanilla or something like that. So that's my current favorite. If I go to Starbucks, I'm a pumpkin spice latte girl, so once those come out, I'm one of those people who's like sobbing. I'm sobbing with relief that they're finally back. And then any other time, I get white chocolate mochas at Starbucks. That's my drink of choice. Question number 3 is from Karen Reneke. I hope I didn't butcher that. Do you have a favorite author? Yes, I do. My favorite author of all time, like as of right now, from everything I've read, She Can Do No Wrong, is Jodi Picoult. And I have not read all of her books, but I am getting there and I want to. I have read quite a few though, and every single one I've absolutely loved. She's very controversial in the stories that she chooses to tell. For example, I think this one follows someone and it deals with the Holocaust, but she just really shocks me every time. There's usually some sort of twist somewhere in the story that I never see coming. But some of my favorites from her, my absolute favorite from her has been 19 Minutes, which is a story about a school shooting. And the reason that one really stuck with me is because I was feeling sympathy for the shooter when I should not have been sympathetic to him. But the way that she wrote it made me sympathize with him, and it pissed me off. But that's good. That's what I'm sure that's what she wanted. anytime she writes something, it shocks me and it makes me think and it makes me rethink some of my views sometimes, honestly. But yeah, so I haven't not read all of her works yet, but I want to. That's kind of a goal of mine. And yeah, so Jodi Picoult is definitely my favorite. All right, so question number 4 is from Musings of a Cat. I love that name. What is your favorite format to read in? Okay, don't shun me. Do not shun me for this, but I love reading on my Kindle. Guys, I really, really, really do. It's easy. This is so small and lightweight, and I have hundreds of books on here. It's very easy for me to just hold with one hand, and I can read, and I can hold a cup of coffee in my other hand. It's nice for me to be able to read at night while my husband is asleep in bed, because I can read this without the light on. It's backlit, so I can not have the light on and bother him while I'm reading in bed with him. Sometimes I tend to read a little bit faster on it too, because I don't have the other page distracting me, if that makes any sense. Sometimes I'll turn a page and I'll be like, wait, can I like get a little sneak peek of what's going to happen? I don't get that on here. So it keeps me going a little bit faster. And yeah, so don't get me wrong, you guys know I love my actual books and my bookshelves and all that, and I have no problem switching back and forth between the two, but this is just easier. Okay, so question number 5 is from Raylene Eichhoff, and it says, what motivated you to start your YouTube channels? That's a great question. Well, for this one specifically, I did not know that BookTube existed until a little bit, like maybe a year and a half ago, and I was like, what is happening? And I ended up finding a few people that were just making books about, or videos about books, and I was like, I read all the time. I could definitely do this. And so I decided to just start on my own, and I have loved every second of it so far. So some people who I was watching that kind of motivated me to do it is definitely Emma Books and Peruse Project. So those were 2 that I was watching, and I was like, I could totally do this. And for my scrapbooking one, I don't remember when I discovered that. I started 2 years ago. It was pretty soon after we moved to our current location that I even discovered it and thought I could do this. I could, you know, work up a setup and I could do this. I do this all the time anyway. And if I just film it and just take a little bit of extra time to do some videos, maybe I can help motivate other people as well. And the one person that really motivated me and got me to thinking I can do this too is Nicole Jones 911. She's my favorite. And so those are kind of the people that inspired me to do it. And the motivation behind it is just, I thought I could do this too. I do this anyway. Okay, question number 6 is from Alex Wayberg. She asks, what is your favorite book couple of all time? Ooh, this was a hard one. Oh, but my favorite of all time is actually one that I read recently. And that is going to be Sarah and Hosea from Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. So this book is a Christian fiction book, and it is kind of a retelling, or it was inspired by the book of Hosea from the Bible, where it is 100% unconditional love. Hosea has this love for Sarah that is just, it's unconditional. Literally, she leaves him and she comes back, and then she leaves him and he comes back, and he loves her all throughout the entire thing. And it is just like really a love story that stands the test of time and stands the strains of a difficult woman. He's difficult too, but she is really difficult. So that's probably my favorite couple. I rooted for them the entire time, and just, yeah. So 100% unconditional love. Okay, question 7 is from Candace Rosado, and it says, I would like to know what is on the bookshelf behind you. What is in the binders? So these right here, scrapbooks, all of them. These right here, these first 2 shelves are Project Life, which is a system of scrapbooking where you kind of record like your everyday type of things, not just big events, but it's kind of more everyday. And it's a big project. And then down here is just supplies for it. And then over here, these are finished little mini albums that I've done. And then here are empty albums up here that I don't have any projects in yet, but I have plans for them. And these are more finished projects. So a lot of these are just kind of like finished scrapbooks that I have completed. And I do film in my scrapbook room because this has the best lighting for me. I am going to be kind of later on in a few months, probably maybe trying to film in my guest room and put a bookshelf in there and see if I can do that instead, because that has a big window with natural light. So that's something I'm going to be experimenting with and trying out, but it's not going to be for a couple months still. So that's why I film in here instead of my bookshelves, because in my living room the lighting is terrible and it looks grainy, and I just don't want to put out a bad quality of a video. Okay, so the next question is from G1 Becky, who lives in the UK, so she can't enter, but she did ask a question, so thank you, Becky. It says, do you watch any TV programs when scrapbooking, and if so, what is your favorite? Ooh, girl, yes, I do. I usually am watching Netflix while I am scrapbooking, so there's a whole bunch of different things I've been watching. Some of my recent favorites were Sons of Anarchy. I really, really love that show. I also just caught up on Bloodline, which is on Netflix, and that's very, very good. Some of my all-time favorite shows, like if there's something you want to get into that is maybe like the whole thing is on Netflix and you just want to get into a new show. My top 3 favorites of all time: Sex and the City, which is my #1 favorite show of all time. Second would be The Walking Dead, which is on right now, or currently season 7 is about to start in October. But a lot of those seasons, I think season 6 is actually coming in September as well. So all of those will be on Netflix. And Dexter is another one of my favorites of all time. I would watch that from beginning to end again. And those, I believe, are all on Netflix as well, and Breaking Bad. So those are kind of my top, like, definite, I love these shows. These are things that I have watched while I was scrapbooking and absolutely loved them. Okay, the next question is from Lindsay Mugarauer. Oh, Lindsay, tell me how to pronounce your last name. All right, her question is, once you finish a book, how do you pick the next one? Do you have a process? And I don't know if I really have a process. I definitely have my set TBRs every month, which is what I'm doing my videos for. And so I know what it is I want to be looking at to read next. So when I'm ready to read another book, I just kind of pick the one from my pile that I'm kind of in the mood for. Sometimes it's not even something from my pile. Sometimes I deviate a little bit. But for the most part, I try to stick with my TBR because it's something that I feel like I've committed to already through making the videos. So it's just kind of, I look at my pile and whatever I'm in the mood for is what I pick next. Next question is from Lauren Elliott, and she asked, do you remember all the books you read, or do you lose it once you start a new book? I don't lose it right away. It sticks in my mind for quite a while. A really good example of something that I don't remember is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, because I read this in 2012, and I remember loving it at the time. Like, I remember loving it, but I don't remember what it's about. I know it's a circus that travels at night and there's a feud and a love story, but I couldn't even tell you the characters' names. So little teeny tiny details like that, I definitely can lose, you know, over time. I actually just filmed my wrap up for August, and I couldn't remember some of the characters' names in the books. I had to look it up. But I remember the story. I remember what happens. I just don't remember their names all the time. And that's just because I'm reading so much that there's a whole bunch of different names in my head. But I do lose it over time, but it takes a long time for me to lose that type of information, like basically what a story is about. So for example, Hopeless by Colleen Hoover, I read it last year. I remember what it's about. I don't necessarily remember the characters' names off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up, but I remember the story. I remember what it's about. I remember I loved it. So I could explain it if I needed to. Next question is from Ellis01. She asked, at what point in a book do you determine to keep reading or make it a DNF? A DNF is did not finish. So what point do you put it down? And she says, if a book doesn't grab my attention pretty quickly, it's usually a DNF. I give my books halfway through. If I have read half of this book and I'm bored out of my mind and I'm not interested and I don't understand what's happening or where the story's going, then I'll put it down. I give it halfway through because when I read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it took me halfway through to get to a point where I started to get interested in it because the first half was so boring to me, but the second half was phenomenal. And if I had given up on it, I wouldn't have had that experience of actually experiencing the rest of that book and the rest of the series. And it was wonderful. And I flew through the rest of them. it was just the first half was so dull and I didn't understand. And I feel like he needed a better editor to say, this is kind of dull. Let's get to the action a little faster. So that's why I do halfway through, because I had heard that about those books, that it took a while to get into, but once you did, it was worth it. And it was absolutely true for me. But yeah, halfway through, if I'm not into it, then I'm done. I don't waste my time continuing with a book that I don't feel like I'm going to enjoy in the end. Unless it's something I agreed to read for a review, then I will push through. But if it's just something I'm reading on my own, I don't want to waste my time with it. Okay, so the next question is from Angela Marburg. She asked, what is your favorite place to read? She's also in the UK. So thank you for asking, Angela. My favorite place to read is in bed. It's comfortable and I'm usually laying down, whether I have my book propped up or my Kindle. So it's just, that's definitely the place I'm the most comfortable. And during the day, I'll read on the couch or something like that, but it's just not quite as comfortable as my bed. The only problem with that is that I tend to fall asleep faster. So it's a give and take, but it's definitely where I'm the most comfortable. Okay, next question is from Robin Wagner. She is curious about my scrapbooking as well. She sees my Project Life binders back behind me and asks if I do traditional scrapbooking as well. Yes, I do. On my other channel, I have a lot of process videos that are both Project Life, and then I also have regular 12 by 12 scrapbooking videos, my process videos that I do there. I have a lot of different projects going on right now. I'm working on a Disney album and I'm filming all that. I have a weight loss journal that I'm not doing so great at, but I'm still filming it. And then I have a monthly kit that I do videos for, and just a couple of fun little series and projects that I'm working on. And I share all of that on my other channel. All right, next question is from Phyllis K. Hi, Phyllis. She has 2 questions. So do you schedule time for your hobbies every day? I try to. I'm really good at making a schedule, and then I'm also really good at deviating from it. So, but now that my kids are in school, they've been in school for 2 full weeks now. I'm still trying to find my groove in it because I'm finding myself with a lot of free time. So I'm trying to make time to both sit down and get creative, or sit down and make book videos, versus, running errands and doing stuff that's just easier to do without my kids. My girlfriends and I also are like, let's go to lunch because we can. So I do definitely schedule time every week. Like I have certain things during the week that I want to get done, regardless of when I get it done. As long as it gets done, it's fine. And there are certain things like book reviews and things like that that I need to have done by certain times as well. So that stuff is a little more strict on my schedule. But as far as creating things like scrapbooking and things, it's a little bit more fluid. I kind of just do it when I can, as long as I get either design team assignments done on time, or, I want to have a certain video up by a certain time. As long as it's done before then I'm good. She also asked, as a military family, do you think you will be moving again soon? No. We've been at our current duty station for 2 years now, and we're probably going to be here another 2 to 3 years is what we're expecting. If something comes up sooner, that would be great. But we're expecting another 2 to 3 years, at least in this current place that we're at. But it's the military, so you never know. Anything can happen. Okay, so the next question is from J White RN71. Was there a particular book or genre of books that really got you into reading? And I remember being in 5th grade, and I discovered the Sweet Valley Twins book series by Francine Pascal. And it followed 2 girls who were twins, Jessica and Elizabeth. I remember their names. And just kind of their everyday life and their school, and they were very different, even though they're identical twins, and, just kind of things that they were going through together. And I absolutely fell in love with that book series. I loved it. And that was kind of the first time I remember getting books and really like, I have to read all of these. I want all of them. And I think I did, up until it went from Sweet Valley Twins when they were in elementary and middle school, and then it went into high school, Sweet Valley High, and then it went into college. I think I read a little bit of college and then I was over it. But that was kind of the first book series that really got me wanting to read a lot and just wanting to continue with a continuous story and the same characters. And then probably around the same time, while I was reading those, I also got into R.L. Stine and started reading a lot of his books as well, even though they scared the crap out of me when I was that age. I really loved his books and wanted to read all of his too. So those are kind of the 2 authors that really got me to kind of spark a passion for reading. Okay, so next one is from Elena Reeds, and she asks, what is your favorite genre? And my favorite genre is probably psychological thrillers because they keep me guessing. They usually have some sort of big twist, and I can never guess them, even though I should. And yeah, so the psychological part of it is what I really love, because it's something that you kind of spend your whole time trying to figure out what's going on. And sometimes it's really great. Sometimes you get duds, but yeah, so that's probably my favorite genre just because it challenges me. And then she also asked, what is a book you've read in 1 to 2 sittings? So one of those is You by Caroline Kepnes. I read this in January and could not put it down. I read it not really 1 to 2 sittings, but in 1 to 2 days. And for me, that's really good. It's hard for me to have a big chunk of time to sit down and read because I have 2 kids. So I'm constantly, if they're home, I'm getting interrupted regardless. But this one, so good. I read it in 2 days, and that's really, really fast for me, especially this is not a short book. But yeah, I love this one. Ooh, loved it. And then I also read the Selection series really, really quickly by Kara Cass. I've only read the first 4 books. I still need to read the 5th one. But every single one of those, I flew through them just really quickly. They were super easy, super good. And I think the Selection I read in 2 days as well. It was really fast. Okay, next question is from Spevniak. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm really trying to pronounce everyone's stuff. She asked, were you always a reader, or is it a new habit in adulthood? I've always been a reader. My mom actually told me even when I was little, like a toddler, and I would always carry books around and want to be read books. And I started reading pretty early, and I was kind of always reading above my grade level. So yeah, it's always been something I want to do. And my mom is the same way. She was a big reader when I was growing up. And so I saw her reading a lot too. And so that's something I'm kind of noticing I'm passing down to my older daughter for sure. And so yeah, kind of a big family of readers. My sister's the same way. Next question is from Cody Doll. Hey girl, how do you find your scrapbooking style, or how did I find my scrapbooking style? That came about probably in the last couple of years. I've been scrapbooking since 2004, I think is when I started. So it's been a long time. But I really kind of found my own style after watching some YouTube videos, and kind of, it made me look at my stuff a lot more critically, I guess, and it pushed me to try new things. And so from that, my style kind of came about a little bit organically that way. And then I found myself, I was going towards the same type of things that I was trying, and I found that I really loved it and it worked for me. So it kind of came about that way. And then she also asked, can you show an in-depth video explaining how you schedule your reading and your videos? And yes, Cody, I will do that. I do have a planner that I'm using to kind of schedule my stuff out and do all that, but I will do a separate video going into that, and I'll show you my planner and I'll show you how I do everything. So that's something I will try to record here in the next week or 2 and get that up so you guys can see that. Okay, next question is from Hannah Chalip. What is your favorite childhood book? Charlotte's Web, hands down. Loved this story, loved this book. It was so good. I remember it made me cry, and I just love the different characters in here and how they all have such amazing personalities, even though most of them are animals. And it also deals with a lot of things that are really important for children, including friendship and if you lose a loved one, because a lot of kids unfortunately have to deal with that as well. So yeah, so this is hands down favorite childhood book. Okay, next question is from Teacups Mama. How many books you currently have in your collection? Gosh, too many. All right, so I have an Excel spreadsheet where I keep a list of all the books that I own, and I have them in different columns. I have books that I own that I have read, or books that I read, like even if I don't own them anymore, you know, I have read them, and sometimes, you know, I'll de-stash them or whatever. And then I have a column for books that I have not read, and the books that I have not read is a lot. But calculating them all, and I still have some that I had to just kind of add the numbers in because I haven't hauled them yet, which means I haven't added them into my database yet. I wait until after I do my video to add them. But I'm looking somewhere around 440 books total. So that's including on my bookshelf and on my Kindle. So that is a cumulative books that I haven't read, that I have read, either on my bookshelf or on my Kindle, around 440. That's not an exact number, but that's a pretty good estimate. Okay, 2 more questions. The book binge is asking, what books are your girls currently loving? And I loved this question. Kailyn, who is my 8-year-old, who is my big reader, she has some favorite series that I'll go ahead and show you a book from each one of those, and then I'll show you what she's currently reading. My 5-year-old is not reading yet. So she's not picking up books and reading them. She'll pick them up and kind of look at them and pretend to read if Kailyn and I are sitting down. We're working with her to try to get her to start reading, but she has the attention span of a 5-year-old, so it's really hard to get her to sit down and concentrate. So we're hoping that kindergarten can help with that too. But for Kailyn, she's kind of like me, where she likes book series where she can get into a world and she can get into the characters and, you know, kind of keep stories going. So I will show you some of her favorites. One of them is the Whatever After series by Sarah Mylynowski, and these are fairy tale retellings. So it is about a girl that goes through each of the Disney princess worlds and kind of helps the story stay together because it's starting to fall apart, and so she becomes part of it and kind of helps the story go where it needs to go. This one is book number 3, and it's called Whatever After Sink or Swim, and so this one is about The Little Mermaid. But they have them for all. They have like Snow White and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and Rapunzel. And I think they just came out with a Frozen one and maybe a Jasmine one as well. But she's been really liking these. I think she's read 3 of them so far, and she wants to continue reading all of them. But yeah, she likes those. She has also really liked the My Little Pony Equestria Girls books. This is book number 6, and I think it's the most recent one. She has all of them. I think she's read the first 4. I don't think she's read number 5, and she hasn't read this one yet. But these are just fun little stories that are based on the My Little Pony franchise, and the My Little Ponies, they had like a show or a movie special thing where they became humans, and so they went from the pony world to the human world and all this stuff. And so they have written books based on those as well. So these are also movies that you can watch or special shows, but Kailyn likes reading them too. So yeah, she really has loved these so far. She has 2 more to read. She also has loved the Onna and Elsa books, and these are kind of a continuation after the movie Frozen. So and I think there's, oh gosh, I think there's like 6 or 7 out now. She's only read the first 4, but she's really liked them. And they're pretty short, as you can tell. They're not super long, but you kind of follow Onna and Elsa and Elsa's queen, and they're kind of like going on and just fun little short stories after the movie. Currently, Kailyn is reading this book here, which is called Driven by Emotions. It's an Inside Out book, and it's pretty long, but this is really cool because it shows, it tells stories from the perspective of the different emotions in the book. So the first one is joy, so it starts out like this, and then you read a story that is told from Joy's perspective, and then you move on to the next one, which is disgust, and then you read a story from her perspective, and it goes through all the emotions, fear, anger, and sadness as well. And she's currently reading it, and I guess right now she's in the middle of disgust. So, but yeah, she's really, really enjoying it. I mean, she was reading parts, like as she was reading, she was just laughing out loud, and it was so funny. But it's super cute, and we got this at Target recently, and yeah, so this is what she is currently reading and currently loving. Okay, last question. This is from Cranberry Cat. Hi. And she, oh gosh, girl, the message you wrote. Oh, I absolutely loved it, and I laughed. Okay, so she asked, I was wondering how often as a military family you have to move, and do you get any say in where you go? That's a great question. So I can only speak from my personal experience with this because every job is different in how they do things and how they assign people and how often you move. Some people will stay in one place their entire career. Some people will move to 10 different places over the course of 20 years. It just depends on what your job is. My husband has always been on airplanes. He's always been a flyer. So we started out when he was enlisted. He enlisted at first, and we went to California and we were there for 6 years. And then from there, he decided to apply for officer school, which he got accepted. So from there, we moved from there. But if he hadn't applied for officer school, we could very well still be there. So that's the kind of thing. It just depends on your job. He has been in 3 different airplanes now. He's on his 3rd one and probably last. And the thing with where they assign you is that you get picked to be whatever job you are as a flyer. You know, you could be a crew member, you could be a pilot, you could be a navigator, you could be, you know, all sorts of different things. So whatever depends on your job, you know, you have certain airplanes you can fly on. So they send you to your training. You do your training. Usually towards the end of your training, you know what kind of airplane you're going to be on and you know what your assignments are, but like where those airplanes are stationed, and those are the places you could go to depending on where the airplane that you're going to be on is located. I hope I'm making sense. Okay. So, for example, the first airplane that my husband was the KC-10, and there's only 2 places as of right now that you can go, and that is California or New Jersey. Those are the only 2 places the KC-10s are located where you can fly on, at least at the time. So when he found out that he was going to be on the KC-10, he had the choice of those 2. So, while they're in training, they do make a wish list. So it's kind of like, here's what I would love. And then they do take those into account when they're assigning, and they take into account what airplanes the guys want. They take into account what's available. Sometimes, you know, they will want this certain airplane, but that airplane's not available. No one's looking for any crew members for that one. And then they also have to look at what the need is. So he may want this airplane, but they really need people on this different airplane in a different location, so they'll put them there instead. So they do kind of take into account what your wishes are for the most part, but they can't always honor it, and you literally kind of have to go where you need to go. But we have been very lucky in our career, and we definitely have goals for our career as well. I'm saying our, like I'm in it and I'm not in it. My husband has goals, and so we have kind of our sights set on the next assignment that we want to get, and it's something that hopefully will be a reality here soon. But it is kind of a continuation of the career he's in right now. So we're kind of hoping, he's hoping to move up the ladder in what he is now. So yeah, so I guess that kind of answers it. So yeah, they take your wishes into account, but they can't always honor them, and you kind of go where you need to go. But yeah. Okay, so that is all for the questions. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick a winner for the giveaway. You're going to get 2 hardback books from me, which I'll show you here in a second. But I printed out all of these questions and I numbered everyone who could enter. So I'm going to do a random number generator right now. I'm going to do it for you guys. So sorry if my lighting is going to go crazy, but I have number 1 through 19. That is how many I am able to put in here based on, you know, people who are eligible for it. So I'm going to do generate. And it's number 17, and that is Hannah Chollop. Yay! So number 17, Hannah Chollop. Yay! All right, Hannah. So I am going to send you a private message through YouTube. You're going to get these 2 hardback books from me. So I'm going to go ahead and send you a message right now so that you can answer me back, and I can get these out to you ASAP, like I would like to do it in the next couple days. So yay, super happy, congratulations. And thank you guys, everyone, for asking me questions, and your comments meant so much to me. They really, really did. I really did tear up at some of them. Just your kindness just completely warmed my heart. And we definitely live in a time in technology where it's easy to get mean. And I've been very fortunate where I haven't had to deal with that a whole lot. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. You're awesome. I would not be doing these videos if you guys were not watching. And yes, so that's gonna be it for me. This is gonna be super long, sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If anyone else has any questions for me at all, just let me know down below and I will respond down below. And I will talk to you guys again soon. And hopefully when I hit 1,000, I'm gonna do another giveaway. So let's get there. Okay, I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.